Well, as you all are aware, Toby was unfortunately not able to make it this morning. He is on top of a mountain with no service, hunting down an elk. Angie, do you have any? Have you heard from him over the weekend? Has he seen anything? Any activity that you know of?
Activity that he wanted me to tell y'all he may be there all week instead
Oh
of
no,
coming back early. So
because he's enjoying it so much, or because he can't see anything? He hasn't
he
seen
hasn't
nothing.
seen anything yet.
Oh,
Mm.
that's tough. That's tough.
So it's pretty warm up there right now still.
Mm,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was
that's
pretty cool
surprising.
this morning. I just
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
back from walking my dogs and it's like, oh wow. I enjoyed the cool, but they did not enjoy the speed.
A fast walk.
Well, cool.
Very.
Um, um, the so today Nick and I are going to be leading everything. And we were talking this morning, and something that I have been challenged with recently is the concept of doing the things that you don't want to do that you know you should be doing. Um, and so, what I want everyone to do, and I will start, I will go first, but what I want everyone to do this morning is to think of something, and I'm assuming you should already know what it is, but think of one thing that is something that is easy to do or easy to accomplish, but that is something that is so hard to actually do and to put into practice, that you know you should be doing. And I would like everybody to share um, just one thing, and then we'll go from there. But for me, um, last week it was cold plunging. About a year ago, I bought I think it was a 20 cubic foot deep freezer, cheap off Facebook Marketplace. I um, sanded it all out, emptied it all out, and uh, sealed it with, JB water weld, and took epoxy like pond shield, and I decked it out. I turned it into a nice cold plunge because I didn't want to spend thousands on an actual one. Um, but anyways, so I've had this cold plunge for a year, and um, in the beginning I was pretty good at getting into it, at least 3 to 4 times a week, for about 3 minutes at a 48-degree temperature. Um, And recently, within the last couple months, I've kind of gotten away from it. I do it every once in a while, but it got to be something that I loved in theory, and I loved when I did do it. And but it got to be something that I started putting up mental blocks because it's something I did not want to do, because initially getting into that cold water is so tough. But once I'm in it, I'm great. I feel great. I get out of it. I go straight into, stretching, exercising, running, lifting weights, and you feel amazing once you get out of it. And obviously, it promotes recovery and whatnot. But the initial aspect of getting in was something that I started to subconsciously put up mental blocks to. And so I would just start skipping it and skipping it and skipping, next time, I don't have time. I would always come up with some excuse. And so last week, I was listening to um, a webinar, and one of the challenges that they were talking about was just, was this challenge of um, find something, because everybody has something, at least one thing that they know they should be doing, they know that would be extremely good for them, they know that would change their lives if they would just choose to actually do it. Whether it's hard, whether it's simple, it's just the fact of building that discipline of doing something you don't want to do that you know you should, just for the sake of doing it. Just do something you don't want to do. And so they were challenging me with that. And so last week it was cold plunging, and I started doing it, and that's one thing I overcame last week. This week because that wasn't the only thing. Something that I also have been struggling with is getting up early. Something as easy and simple to do it has become such a challenge for me, um, for whatever reason. But the initial, most days, it's tough to get out of bed early. I love staying up late, and in the mornings I want to stay in bed. It's warm, it's cozy, it's whatever. But it has been a mental battle that I have not addressed with myself. And so, um, it's something that I have. This morning I got up earlier than I have in, I don't know how long. And it's something I used to do regularly, but um, so that is my most recent thing that am now, I am choosing to get up early. Um, and like I said, it sounds so stupid, so simple, so whatever, but I know it is something that is a good discipline that successful people put into place, and so that's something that I'm putting into practice. But I know like Nick and Toby and Chandler, they get up early all the time, and it's not a problem. For me, it is such a struggle. And so that's one thing that I have challenged myself with. Um, and the concept of that, well, I'll get into that after. What I want now is I want everybody else to share, and then we can talk about it moving forward. Um, but I would like everybody to go around and just share one thing. It can be big, it can be small, it can be whatever, but I want
Reading
everyone to.
this book, it is depressing. It is just like the worst thing in the world. Business is War, by J.T. Fox. I have been trying to read this book for months since it came out.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, I can't tell you very much of what it said. It's just,
Why is it
it's negative, and I don't like negative.
taking the time to sit down and actually read the book, or is it the book itself?
I think it's the book itself. I mean,
Gotcha.
there's some parts that were like chapter 3 is the most important one because it's about contracts. But it's learn from failures. So it's constantly speaking somebody's failure, failure, failure. I've had enough of those that I should be the most winning, most successful person and the wealthiest person ever alive. And so reading other people's failures, which a lot of it's about business, and a lot of these are the ones that I grew up when went to A&M, got my business degree. They were all going up and coming down. So I know about all those, but still it is it's worse than fingernails on a chalkboard.
Well, there's
All
always
right.
something good, to learn from,
Yeah.
these things. And, even Abraham Lincoln said that, he's always learning from somebody, even if it's what's not to do, which I think is a good thing to understand. And also, I read a lot of books too, and there's a hard notion on if I want to read a book or do X, Y, and Z, I have to do it inside of its entirety. But there's a lot of good things that you can get from a book, even if it's not reading it from cover to cover, that like even has this idea too. And so even one chapter or one page or whatever it might be, and because on this theme that Randy brought up too, we have this mindset, this self-limiting mindset that we tell ourselves that's either we do it fully, completely all the way, or we don't do it, which is this self-limiting factor where it's like, oh, like Randy said, I want to wake up every day for the next month. And then, the second that's not true, well, now you can't do it anymore, which is such a bad like way of thinking of it. And we're constantly our brain is constantly trying to reinforce what we think about and what we say. So if we say we can do something, then we can. If we say we can't do something, it'll look for ways to agree with that too, which is a hard thing to have, but that's just how the mind works in order to keep us surviving, to keep us living. So like you, Randy, and Renee have even brought up, you already have this idea. Everybody already knows what they should be doing. It's that one thing that hangs over us that we think it should be. And one thing I was telling Randy this morning was I haven't been doing a daily to-do list and like trying to plan out the week, trying to plan out the day. I know I should be doing that, but I've been able to get by during the day. So it hasn't been a problem, but it constantly hangs over. I know I should be doing it. I know the benefits of it. And yet we don't do it for a certain amount of reasons. And so the thing that we're trying to really reframe, if it came down to a point, is don't think about how to perfectly do something. Don't think about what is the plan that I'm going to do forever. Don't just think about what you're going to do just then and just do it. Just like kind of turn off the brain on what it's trying to tell you how to do it or how to do X, Y, and Z, because you need to get through it so many times to get through all the reps. And I bring a lot of metaphors back down into the gym just because it's just so easy to kind of understand. But you're going to the gym one day is not going to make or break your physique. So if you go to the gym for 30 minutes or an hour that first day, it's really not going to change anything. It's the mass accumulation of you doing that day in and day out. And so it's really important to get through as many reps as you can as fast as possible so that you can go from not knowing how to do something to kind of knowing how to do something to making it a habit that's almost unconsciously, able for you to do it. So whatever you guys' goals might be, the important factor is actually just doing it and finishing whatever you say that you're going to tell yourself that you're going to do. The important part is kind of keeping that promise. And the more times that you say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then you do X, Y, and Z, that is a factor that builds on your own self-confidence continually. And so the more times that you kind of tell yourself to do something that's difficult, the more that it gets easier for you to continue to do difficult things. So it's a really important thing, and that's why I like that Randy brought it up today, and I want to continue to do that. So the kind of idea that I wanted to do this week was that I'm going to really track every day the tasks that I need to do and plan out next week and so on and so forth and get into that habit. So that's kind of my share.
So if you do that on Sunday night, if you sit down on Sunday night, years ago, I joined a group called Sunday Basket and organized 365. And every Sunday evening in Central Time, it's from 4 to 5:30. We sit down and we go through all kinds of stuff, and you plan out your week. And you front load all, your first 3 days are just really heavily loaded. And that leaves the last 2 or a few days so that anything that didn't get done in the first that can wait can get done at the end. And your week comes out more productive that way. And I had stopped doing that for a long time. And then I just said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And since I do this, I mean, it's just I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's hour by hour, day by day. And I write what has to be done and what I'm going to do, what are my 3 goals for the day for work, 3 goals for my home, and then anything else that won't fit on there for me, I just write it on the back. And that way I have this sheet. And so for me, anything I don't get done this week, it's going to automatically go on to next week. And then on Sunday, I got this idea from a seminar I was in. On Sunday, sometime during Sunday, you sit down and you journal all the good things that God did for you during the week.
Which, yeah, I mean, that's a good thing to bring up because, the other important part is that the best thing that you can do is find what works best for you specifically. So everybody has a different goal for the same task, but it could look completely different for somebody else. And
Right.
so that's the real kicker thing too, is why that we should continue to just do the work that's there instead of trying to perfectly go into it. Because if you try to wake up early on a certain schedule, like Randy said, he may take some advice from somebody else that talks about getting up early, but that's what worked for them. And then we have to find our own kind of lane that we go into to go with it. So that's why it's important to just put in a lot of those reps. Renee, I saw your hand up too. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna elaborate on what Randy was asking us to reflect on.
Perfect.
I
It's all
think the
you.
biggest thing that I am struggling with is my daily routine of reaching out to realtors and submitting deals. Now I'm doing it. I know you see my stuff coming through and you see me communicating to you guys, but it's discouraging, it's stressful, and I just keep going, when is a break going to come through? When is a break going to come through? But then this voice in the back of my head says, don't give up. Don't give up, just like you didn't give up learning to walk again and take care of yourself again and being in the gym every day. I am dedicated to that. I've already been this morning, and I use my time very wisely because I have children during the day as well. But if I make a conscious effort every single day, even on the weekends, I take a break, I slow down on the weekends from business, but I still submit deals and try to go look at properties and things like that. It's just, I'm really struggling with the discouragement. And I know that I need to do this to be successful, and I know it's a numbers game. So I know everything that's involved with it. It's just keeping myself in that moving wheel. If you let the wheel slow down, the big stone wheel, it's going to be harder to get it started up again. So don't quit. And that's what I keep telling myself. But man, it's just day after day a letdown. And I feel like I'm stumbling into it. And thank goodness for you, Randy. You've helped me learn how to navigate a lot of the tools that I wasn't using properly. So I am learning. And I look forward to learning a lot more and seeing positive results come out of this. It's just hasn't happened yet.
Well, thank you for sharing. Yeah, no, that's, and I think that's something that I know I've struggled with that, and specifically in the area of exactly what you're doing. I know, and I don't know if any of you guys know, like Chandler and I have, we did our first flip. Well, we're still, it's supposed to close this week, but the first, what do you say, 6 months, took us 6 months to find a deal, and that's obviously it wasn't our number one priority, and so that's why it took so long. But there's like you were saying, Renee, it is a numbers game. It is something that it's all about just getting the practice of analyzing, getting to the quick yes, quick no's, but the discipline that you are showing, and I will admit I have been impressed with you, because I've seen that you've been struggling with it and learning different things and all that, but you have been consistent, and that's what is important. That's what Nick was saying is, and it's a quote he says all the time. Well, shoot, what's the quote? It's
Which one?
oh man, it just left my head. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to skip or something like that.
Yeah, it's okay to suck. It's not okay to skip.
There you go. There you go. And I have not seen you skip, Renee. You have consistently been doing what you know you should be doing, even with you struggling with it. And so that's the practice that you should be doing. You're doing exactly what you need to do. And so I do just want to encourage you in that you're doing the right things. It's not always fun, but you're doing what you need to do, and that's what is important, because you're putting you're practicing the discipline of doing the things you don't want to do. So that's awesome. Who's next? I'm gonna call on somebody if no one wants to volunteer.
I can go.
Cool.
So I guess mine's not so much work wise, because I got a pretty good work ethic, even though I haven't been doing the whole unshakable investor thing very well here lately. I'm a pretty dedicated worker. I stay pretty involved with work. I guess mine would be getting back to nature a little bit. I used to go hunting and fishing, and I mean, I did shark tooth hunting, arrowhead hunting. I was always in nature somehow. And I guess the more I started getting involved in a career and finding money, I stayed away from it more. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Is I got 2 kids that are inside on video games all the time. I'm constantly on TikTok on my free time, Facebook. I mean, constantly doing stuff like that. And I've been thinking a lot about that lately, getting back into nature. And really and truly, it's a very peaceful part of my life when I'm there. It gives me a lot of time to think and reevaluate everything I've done. And so that's something I definitely need to get back into 100%.
Yeah, man. That's getting away from the distraction, the content, and taking time to just be in peace and find rest, because it's just as important as the work ethic, which you already have. So that's awesome, man. And I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with as well. So cool. Anna, I see your hand raised. What you got?
I can go next. If you,
Yes, ma'am.
if neither work, neither life thing, I typically do my taxes and submit it to the CPA and end of the year already ready to file. And I have tools. I know how to file all of the expenses and spendings, because we put close to $40,000 a month through the business account. And holidays are always messed up, because here I am, have to sit with that gigantic box of expenses trying to make sense of them, even though it would be a lot easier to get them all filed, take a picture and all of that as you pay for it. And it's a habit that I haven't gained yet. So probably next one on a to-do list, because that will make holidays a whole lot better and will keep everything a lot more organized. That's the only part of the life that's probably not organized, and it drives me bananas.
Gotcha. Any volunteers?
I can go next.
Cool.
Something that's hard for me is, so kind of like you, Randy, I want to be better at like waking up early. And I'll get on a good streak of a few weeks of getting up early, going on a walk, doing a workout, and then reading my Bible or doing my devotional. But once the baby doesn't sleep the whole night, then I slowly watch myself start getting up later and later. And I feel like my day is much better when I stay disciplined and get up early and knock out those few things before the kids get up. And when it's not, I notice that like I feel more sluggish. I just want to relax. And the whole day I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do it during nap time. Go on like a walk or work out or read my Bible. And I notice that then those are the days that the kids don't take a long nap, or they don't nap together, or there's like, I make up excuses. And then of course those excuses, like it just becomes a pattern. And then each day it gets to where then I'm not waking up early. I am exhausted from the baby not sleeping, and I can feel myself and my mindset and everything just kind of spiral down.
Mhm.
And so I notice even if the baby doesn't sleep, still getting up early, I still feel better going on a walk, getting a workout in, getting into my Bible. It's just like telling, it's like mind over like matter,
Mhm.
trying to tell myself that, yes, I'm exhausted, but I will be a much better mom, a much better wife, a much better friend if I still stay in those disciplines.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
Just true. And Randy, you mentioned this morning, I don't know if you've already said it too, like you have two paths that you go down if you want to do this task or not do this task. You want to wake up early, or if you don't wake up early. If you're building a habit of doing it or building a habit of not doing it. It's and so you continue to stoke the fire of one of those. And so that's kind of an important thing to understand too, is that the second that you start kind of giving ourselves a self-fulfilling no, it's okay today, or I'll do it tomorrow. That's the thief really there, is that you put off the work for another day. It's much easier to feel okay about today because I'll do it tomorrow. But it's much more important to do that today than to wait.
Yeah, and something else that we were talking about as well, it's the little decision. It's not the actual task itself that is hard. It's the decision to do it is what is the difficult part. So like for the getting up early, the hardest part is just getting out of bed. Once you're out of bed, good to go. Once I'm in the cold plunge, I'm good. I can fight through that, but it's the mental battle that you play with yourself before you actually do the thing you're avoiding. Is something that I've learned. And so yeah, just it's building that discipline of just do the hard thing. Just do it. Just make the decision to do it, start it, and then it'll take off. But cool. Thank you for sharing. Who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
So mine has definitely been, I stay pretty, I'm very work driven. I don't have a problem getting to doing my work and finishing my work. Home wise, I'm somewhat the same. I'm not a sit and watch TV type person, but for 45 years, I've always been one that'll work out. Workout has been my biggest struggle for the last year. I've never had this. And once it's affected my mood, which it does when your body's, it's not that I work out so much that I'm so that, but it does affect your endorphins and how you translate things. And now that I've gotten in such a bad rhythm of if it's 20 minutes past when I should have left, I'm like, oh, it's a little too late. The dogs are going to want me to be home. I'm not going to go. To go in the morning, I have to get up at 4. If it's 4:15 when I finally get out of bed, I'm like, oh, that's going to be pushing my time. I'll do it tomorrow. And so especially with a husband who, um, would go to the gym more than anything else due to it affects your mood. It'll throw them off. I've really noticed the last 6 months it has started to now affect my drive in so many other positions. So I'm really trying to make a conscious effort. Usually if I can get something done for 14 days, I can say then I'm back in consistency. It's getting that 14 days in that seems to be my struggle. I'll hit it dead on for 7, and then 8 and 9 happen. I'm like, oh, time to start over. Better not work
Yep.
out 9, 10, and 11 either. So,
Mhm.
it starts to train roll. And so this has been something that has driven me nuts. And coming up on my birthday, I'm really trying to get back into a routine that just makes me feel better.
Yep. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I can go next.
Cool.
Mine is also exercising. Just the simple things, getting up in the middle of the day and going out and walking around the office. I've talked myself out of it every single day. I find some other reason. I'm too busy. I got too many emails to answer. I've got so many other things to do. And so that's my
Yep. something so simple, just like I said, it's everybody's got it. And multiple, I have multiple. The list is long. Cool. Next.
Andy, you need to start taking Angie on your walks with you.
Yeah, we'll go together.
I'll go next.
Cool.
Being that I'm transitioning out of the Marine Corps right now, it's truly been a transition, and I think one of the things that my goal has been is to actually get into multifamily. So now I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. So that's one of the goals of being like plugged into other communities, whether it's like just learning. I've done like I've taken like other coaching programs and whatnot, but just trying to make sure it comes to fruition, whether it's like, you know, raising money or the debt side. So still a progress in work, but that is definitely a goal as I'm transitioning out. So things have been kind of up in the air in a sense as I'm making this transition. So
Sure.
lots
Yeah.
to be learned and stay flexible and, you know, just yeah, I just got my last paycheck, my active duty last paycheck here on the 15th. So next month is going to be truly something different. So, but yeah, just want to continue to pursue that goal.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Sir.
I just want to say, Latate, thank you that you love all of us more. The sign is above your head.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. As far as for me, along the lines of like health, I guess I've been doing pretty good on the health stuff. Is just eating no sugar. You know, having I share custody with my kids, and you know they don't have with the blending of the shared custody of the family. You know, it's hard to have complete, you know, healthy habits and everything like that. So I allowed the sugars, the poisonous sugars into my house, the Oreo cookies, and dang it, man. The Oreo cookies won. I mean, I haven't been going buck wild, but I've had, you know, the artificial sugar and the sugar sweets like that, and I just noticed what it does to my body, and it's not
Yep.
great. Like overall, the stuff that's in there, it just messes up the brain and everything. I know the difference from going completely clean eating for so long, and then to have these
Yep.
sugars, it just the food tastes fake and everything like that, but I can't stop it. And I was thinking about that, you know, the nostalgia of eating an Oreo kind of gets me, not so much as the I want the sugar and I need a sugar
Yeah.
hit because my body's well regulated. And I'm just like the nostalgia. I was like, I'm eating these because I ate when I was a kid. They don't even taste good anymore. They don't even
Yep.
taste like the same thing. But
Yep.
so noticing that, so getting that to clean that up, and that leads to the treadmill, you know, just making sure I'm getting my 10,000 steps every day. You know, that's usually around 3.5 miles, 4 miles, you know, and that can take a little bit of time if you're walking. So just making sure that I'm tightening in a good hour where if I got to run to get that 10,000 steps, and you know, I'll make sure I run, and just doing it consistently, because it's not the fact of doing it. I do it regularly, but I fell off, and I can feel the last couple of weeks the habits that have incepted kind of got their way in through my nostalgia of the Oreos. So they're gone now, and just
There
gonna
you go.
start eating some sort of healthy snack.
Yeah. Yeah, that was for me that was Coke. I grew up drinking Coca-Cola like it was water. I mean, all the time. And it was probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Uh I stopped for a decent amount of time, and then when you stop, you always crave it. You go through those withdrawals like I'm you know, I just want one so bad. And then maybe after 2 months, I was like, yeah, I'll have one here and there. I drank and I'm like, this is garbage. This doesn't even taste good. This is nothing like I remembered it. And so now I don't even drink soda. But it was just the like you said, the nostalgia of having it. It wasn't even the and that's the same thing with I've heard with, you know, like cigarettes. Like I grew up with a somebody who she probably smoked 2 or 3 packs a day, just constantly smoking. And she had some different organ failures, and so she had to go to rehab and whatnot. But she was telling me that the hardest part was not actually not smoking. The hardest part was just she missed the feeling of having the cigarette between her fingers. It was the muscle memory of it. It was the hardest thing to break. And so that's cool that you bring that up, because like the Oreos, like you said, they don't taste good. They don't make you feel good. It's just that the nostalgia, and it's just crazy how the human body and our minds kind of build those habits, and pretty much it's deceitful almost.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. That's cool.
Well, and we have to remember to live life in moderation.
Agreed.
I am 1 year clean of sugars and processed
Wow.
foods,
That is
and
amazing.
it's 95 pounds.
Dang.
So
That's awesome.
it
That is
has
awesome.
taken a lot of dedication, but I have to remember it's okay to have one of those cookies every once in a while. It's about moderation.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we just have Rick and Lori are the only two left. Who's next? Oh, I think you're muted, Lori. Nope. Still muted. Oh, there you
Can you
go.
hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, I can.
Okay. So my life has been in transition. I just got out of my neck collar. Last August, I had a kid because texting was more important to him than driving.
Mm.
He hit me at highway speed while I was sitting still, waiting for a left-hand turn. So I'm in the process of all of legalities and settlements and things like that right now. So kind of in a holding position on that. But I'm still so angry at him. I had a horse in training. I barrel race, had a horse in training. You know, I'd spent years in my personal side hauling kids, rodeos, dog shows, grandkids, rodeos, dog shows. Did endurance racing, did barrel racing for myself, team roped around them. And this was supposed to be my time now to really get in and do what I enjoy. So that's all on hold again because they're not sure I'll ever be able to ride a horse again. 5 of them. I have 5. I've had them since I was 10. Not those, but so big part of my life now gone. Possibly working on it. We'll see. But pretty frustrated with that and forgiving that kid for what he did because he couldn't put down the phone while he's driving on the highway. I'm pretty angry with that. So my life in the past, also transitioning, I did real estate, had apartments, developed subdivisions, built residential, built commercial, grew up in the industry, really good. I'm really good with managing subs, watching numbers. I'm very good. I'm good at that. I'm always on time, always on budget. The one I'm most proud of, I did a 8,000 square foot commercial building, 4 months time from when I got my permit to break ground to my occupancy permit. I'm still pretty proud of that. But I partnered with the wrong people. They ripped me off for $1 million. It took me 35 years to put that together because I did everything the hard way. I could have done it faster, but I didn't want co-signers. Grew up in the industry, so obviously Dad could have done that. Developed a commercial cattle herd, had them for 30 years. My first business was a boarding and grooming kennel that I built when I was 24. Did that for 35 years. Rental, everything overlapped. I did it all. Commercial hay for other farmers. Enjoyed, I love to work. And I look back now, it's like, I don't even know how I found time to do all that. But right now what I'm doing is the FBI took a RICO case when my partners did that. And I needed a change. So right now what I'm doing is I never took a vacation, right? So I'm solving that. I'm delivering RVs around the country. I'm in Wyoming right now with a fifth wheel hooked onto my pickup. I get to go see what part of the country I want when I want. It's been very healing for me. So I've been, other than missing 6 months of the last 12 months from surgery and trying to fix my truck, getting my truck fixed. So a year, but 6 months of actual work. So I needed that healing. I needed the time away, and it's been really good. Exercise is no problem, although I drive. I don't know if you can see them. Hey guys, get up. We walk 3 to 5 miles a day. Now that my neck can support my head again, because I've always done that, but the doctor says it, because it hurt. So I was frustrated with not even being able to do that. But it's a bowling ball on top of a stick that was broken. So my neck now looks like the bionic woman. But anyway, I'm getting off. I need to get back into real estate though, because it's what I love. I'm just going to be much more careful with who I've tightened my circle up so much. You could really call me antisocial at this point. I believe I'm pretty happy with me and the dogs.
Yes, ma'am.
So I need to expand that back. But my level of trust is gone. Like the people had ripped me off. One was their mother and son. They owned a chain of McDonald's. We had mutual friends. I didn't know them. They approached me. I didn't approach them. And the year after the FBI took the RICO case, she was voted Person of the Year in my state. So it's like there's not even freaking justice,
Yes, ma'am.
So still pretty touchy about that, but I'm no longer in the position where I can just call the banks and say, do you have room for this in your portfolio? Are you guys doing this now? Are you doing that now? And finding out if I fit, and then getting my business plan together and knowing who to go to.
Sure.
So starting at ground zero after being ripped off, it's I still need to have some forgiveness, but my level of trust but I'm going to have to get over that to move forward. So that's my frustration. And it's really hard to pray for the people that have done this to me, to pray for them to be happy financially, but that's what I do, because I think that's necessary. But it's still head level, not heart level, not gut level, if that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it does.
So I've got to get it down inside.
Well.
And although this is a Love's Cup, because I'm sitting in a Love's parking lot closed down by Wyoming wind, because it's a fun time, it is water in the cup, because I am no longer a Dr. Pepper fiend, and the sugar is also gone from my life. And
Thank you so much. Yes.
The body craves what it's allergic to, right? So do I still crave sugar? Oh yeah. But
yes, ma'am.
But it's gone. So anyway, thanks for letting me vent.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. I know you told me all that last week, and I appreciate you getting on here and sharing that, because you have a pretty powerful story, and working through forgiveness and resentment that's probably the toughest things that anybody will ever do. And the fact that you recognize that it's something that you do need to do and that you're actively praying through and working through that's awesome.
Yeah, it's tough. So anyway, thanks.
Thank you. Rick, Chandler, which one of you is going next? All you, buddy. Go, Rick. Oh, Chandler, you going?
I don't mind. Let me step outside real quick. Sorry, I'm at Discount Tire and didn't want to bother everybody. So what's the original question? Sorry, I've been in and out.
No, you're good. Everyone's going around sharing the things. One thing that they know they should be doing, but it's something. It's just something that they know they should be doing that they aren't doing. So one thing that they could do to get in the habit of doing the hard things, just making the decision to do something you should.
Hmm. I think for me, it's not as much like an actionable item, but more of a like mindset is just learning to be more present in the moment in a lot of what I do versus always looking towards the next thing or constantly thinking about something else or always, I like to always like pursue something or think or research or, always look to the future. And I often struggle with like staying present in the moment. So I think for me, just learning to have more of a still, quiet time. I typically in the mornings will read my Bible and have kind of a quiet time, but most of the rest of the day is filled with some type of noise, whether I'm listening to a book or a podcast or talking to somebody or, just a bunch of different things. But sometimes I think it'd be better for me to take away some of that time of, you know, noise and just sit quietly and do a task without background noise, without a podcast, without a book, without just, being on the
Yep.
phone, just sitting in my own thoughts, I think would be a lot more beneficial. It allows us to kind of process our thoughts and emotions a lot better. And I think, sometimes we fill our life with background noise to intentionally not process what's going on. And so
Yep.
I think that would be really important for me to do.
Very nice. Yep.
Mhm.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Rick, you're up, bud. Last one. Bring us home.
I think Angie and I are very much alike. My biggest thing is getting to the gym or exercising, treadmill, whatever. That's now the biggest thing for me. A few years ago, I used to bench 240. I was in incredible shape. But with business, I think I'm the type of personality that, like somebody else said, I never give up. So when I get onto a task, there's the micro and the uh, various tasks. When I get onto a task, I don't want to give up. I work it until it's done. Now, I have booked in every day to go to the gym at 3 o'clock. But if I'm in the middle of something, okay, I've got to finish this. And
Yep.
I got that feeling that Angie is pretty much the same way. You get into something and then it's harder to switch to something else. So my biggest thing, pretty much in every other way, I'm very very disciplined, but the exercise thing has fallen off. Uh, it's actually taken me a while to figure out how to get around that, but the answers come slowly. But pretty much that the thing for me is
Yeah.
getting on the exercise. Everything else is very disciplined, but getting back into the exercise is that's
Yes,
my
sir.
thing.
Yes, sir. Christy, what you got?
So I just want to give you some encouragement, Rick. There's this book, it's called Do. And I took I just copied the cover of the book and I put it in my kitchen. So every day when I go in there, no matter what, I see this big word that says do. And so maybe I need to put that on the cover of this book. So I will read this. But I do want to say thank you for that. Just I haven't got to the book, obviously. I'm still struggling, working through that one. And but it's just an encouragement to me. Just the simple word, do.
Yes, ma'am.
It's easy. There's And I'm gonna say this, I have found within the last week or two, the few thing or the things that cause me the greatest fear, and yes, I'm going through a lot of fear here, because there's so much I don't know what to do. But the things that cause me the greatest fear, if I just stop and look at it and say, okay, why is this causing me such fear? And just take just a moment just to analyze that fear and say, on the other side of that fear is my blessing, because that fear is stopping me from getting to it. So, homeowners insurance. I've never in my life had to get homeowners insurance. And I recently did, and I was really scared about it. And it was like, it's easy. It was just easy. Saved myself $2,000 too while I was at it. Yay. But it's those things that you don't do if you just make yourself, which I have it on, I want you to know, on my calendar, on my weekly calendar, it's every day is read 10 minutes. Read 10 minutes. But I've got to do that. So, but on the other side of the things that are stopping you, your blessing is there.
Christy, why is it that book? Why do you want to read through that book so bad?
Because I'm in JT's circle, and he's like, I got this book, you got to read my book, and if you're gonna do business with me, you gotta read my book.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was something else, because if reading is what you wanted, I'm sure there's definitely a book out there that's not as negative or depressing like you said.
Yeah, I've got books. I'm reading through other books too, and just wonderfully fine, smooth sailing, because they're positive. And I'm sorry, but at this moment in my life, I don't need negative. I need positive. So I guess that's the other thing. It's just I don't need another negative to have to have to work through.
I was fixing to say the same thing, is that, you've had a lot of grief lately. And
Yeah.
I would think you need to focus more on positive stuff right now, and uplifting stuff and motivational stuff, and not something that's going to bring you down. Maybe set that book aside, and when you're in a better headspace, try reading it then. It might not be so hard to read then. But I don't know that it's positive for where you need to be right now.
Okay. But sometimes finishing a book is one of the hardest things for me, because I'll pick them up, I'll start reading them, and I never finish. And this is one of them that I picked up. I started reading. I'm on chapter 8. Hugh Hilton is I tell y'all what, I have a real estate crush on him like it's nobody's business.
Good guy.
I can
He's
sit
a very good
and
guy.
listen to him. I sat and listened to him for 8 hours one day, and it was like 30 minutes. And for me to sit still that long, heck, for me to sit still 30 minutes is tough. But yeah, I'm in his chapter right now, and I'm like, why is this difficult?
Well, I think you kind of wrap up what the kind of final idea of this exercise too is, that we all know of something that we should be doing, that we're trying to do, that we can do. Then I think it's also important inside of those moments to kind of ask ourselves why we haven't done something, why we haven't been able to, because everybody can have a different answer. There's anger, there's envy, there's people who have an ego, maybe, that they don't want to go towards it. And there's also one of unknowing. maybe I don't want to do this because I don't know what that step is. I don't know how to go towards X, Y, and Z. And so sometimes by like kind of reflecting on, well, why don't I want to do this? Why do I not want to like do these task lists daily or weekly? Why is it difficult for me, even though I want to do it? It's almost like, opposite. And there is an answer. Almost, it might be, deep down from what you might think. But let's say that if the difference between me, wanting to go to the gym and not going is that I don't have a structure. Well, then I give myself structure. Maybe that helps. And so there's that's one part of the thing that I want to say. And then the other part is that there's never such thing as perfection too. So we always think that, well, maybe if I have this perfect structure in place or this perfect format or this perfect way that I can do this task for a set period of time. And then if I don't follow that structure, well, then I did fail that. But that's not really the goal. The goal is to have it done. And so there's also a lot of different ways that people will almost convince themselves out of doing a task. And so I definitely want to encourage to kind of be a little bit more self-aware of, well, maybe why do I not want to do this? Is it painful? Because this is a hard thing to do. Okay, well, accept the pain, move on and do it. And so you can almost convince yourself back into it because you know why you don't want to. Thought.
So Rick, what you got, buddy?
If you want, Randy, I'll send a copy of the book named Do to you, and you decide if you want to let everybody request it or send a copy to everybody on this call. That'll be fine with me.
Cool. Well, is that your book?
It is. I wrote it.
Oh, okay. There's the connection. Okay. Got it. Okay. Cool. Yeah, go ahead, send it. And the kind of the last thing, how I want to wrap everything up, is the challenge for you guys is one, to do that thing that you mentioned. Just make the decision and do it. And I want everybody to go into the community, and I think there's an accountability section.
There is.
Yep, daily accountability. Go into that daily accountability channel. Let me share my screen so you can see it. Can y'all see this here? Perfect. So in this daily accountability section, I want you to go in. Everyone should have a spot where they can make a post. And I want you to post the thing that you talked about today. Post this is what I'm struggling with doing. And, this is my commitment to actually doing that thing. Everybody by the end of the day today to do that. And we'll come back next week and we'll see how it went.
Sounds like a plan.
Because I'm willing to bet you'll be in a different headspace just by making the practice of doing the things you should but don't want to. Because that's everybody struggles with the mental battle, and there's a lot of things in life that there's a lot that we've talked about today. I mean, there's a lot of different whys, but at the end of the day, if you just make the decision to do it and do it, I think your outcome will be great. And not only that, but you'll be able to, if you can make the decision to do the little things when the truly hard things come, because you've built the practice of doing the things you don't want to do, you've put that practice into place, it'll be that much easier to overcome. So I appreciate everybody getting on and sharing. I know it takes a lot of vulnerability and time. And so I appreciate you guys. So does anybody have any questions, anything that they want to discuss before hopping off?
Just a reminder that we're going to talk about the other
Yes,
stuff.
ma'am. Give me 10 minutes and I will call you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hey, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
On the submission tool, where you upload your rehab PDF. I have been not able to upload that estimator PDF. It says failure when I
Okay.
try to upload it. So
Let
I
me-
just